Yo, what is up, everyone? We are live. That is great to hear. Good to see. Let me start by sharing the stream into the Discord, and then let's start preparing our crypto trading week. Okay, beautiful. Give me a quick second, then we're just gonna start spitting fire. Okay, so the plan for today is to prepare our crypto trading week. So I want to get some high time frames in the chart. I want to get some good point of interest in the chart. So we could possibly trade towards that zone and into that zone towards our next areas. So the Sunday is always really important. Saturday, the price action is always a bit meh, in my opinion, in my data. So, but Sunday is always great. Sunday, you can already see the market preparing for the coming week and possibly what's gonna happen that week. Either we're gonna pump or dump or consolidate. Sunday is a great day to look at that. Okay. Well, I had this thing drawn in at Tom. I did share this in the Discord also, and it's looking absolutely amazing. What happened here? Well, I had certain point of interests. What we did here was interesting because we had a high and we had a low. So you could say you could draw in a range, which is absolutely valid. And what happened here in this range is we had our, you can call this one deviation just because of the a lot of price action here, and on the higher time frame this is just one pop above your swing high. You also created a, I would say, market maker top here, and that's also why we got a good reaction from this supply zone here. This would, at the time, this would be your market maker supply, and you had great confluences to start shorting here. You even have the high, the low, take out the high, and continue our trend towards the desired direction, which often is the opposite side of your range, alright? And why is that? It's because you have a draw on liquidity. The orders that have been scaled in here to push the price down, where can they sell those orders, or at least um, where can get where can they get rid of those orders? Well, that's right here, and that's exactly where we traded to. This was beautiful return to zone. We were building a lot of trend liquidity up on the highs, which indicates that price could possibly return there. Because we're leaving liquidity open for later. We're leaving this open until we have grabbed enough on the other sides, which in this case is our range low. And well, You can see it on the chart. The rest is pretty much history. We also had the same bottom, the three taps on the bottom here, which we also had on the highs. Locally you see it as well. This pattern is literally everywhere. It's market makers trying to push price up or down. It's how you read consolidations. So it's definitely very interesting to keep an eye on those things. So I had this point of interest laid out. This, after the sweep, this is where we had our first pullback before we actually start gaining. So your uptrend would be called this. And well, look at this. We just got front ran on our point of interest. Now my question is, did I draw it in wrong? Did I do something wrong? So I really want to take a look at that, because it doesn't just front run a great PUI zone of that. And you can already see, you can look at the 12-hour, the 8-hour, the 6-hour. It's all this candle with a big imbalance above it. So I want to draw in my zone from this part as well. And if you take a look at that, that has been touched. And I missed this trade because we can see big consolidation. Then we got the manipulation and we got the expansion. When you make a bottom like this and you have great support here, you can expect continuation. So all you have to do is look right there for an entry. And I'm curious if there actually was an entry. There for sure is. I mean, look at this price action. It's great. You're going down slowly, taking liquidity from the lows, market makers filling up orders. Let's check the 1 minute actually. And this is pretty clear, right? When we draw in our market structure, this is what brought us towards new lows. So that's also what you'll have to gain for in order to expect more upside. This would be your change of character. So then, if we make that change of character, our order flow has now switched to bullish. And when we switch bullish, you can expect after a higher high, we can now expect a higher low for another higher high. Then what is the part that caused this break right here? This is our last pullback before we actually gained that structure. And we should look at that. This is not coincidence. Sellers still tried to push price down from here, but obviously buyers stepped in and actually caused us to break structure as well. Well, that was pretty much your trigger to too long here. You could even have your stop loss below the low, but the safest way would be down here. And I would prefer the safest way right here. And why is that? Because the technical target of your whole range like this, because you fine tune your entry on a low time frame, you can actually start targeting your range high with a low time frame entry. And look at that. That's just a crazy RR. It's not, you could say it's not realistic, but of course you take profits here, you take profits here. But you can have runners towards this range high because that's just your technical target. It would be stupid not to. Okay, let me do one more thing. There we go. Okay, so that was pretty much Ton. What would I expect on Ton right now? Because of course, I have missed this trade unfortunately, but the trade was definitely there. So what can we still do to start trading towards our technical target, which is this high, and maybe even runners towards all the way new highs, because that is this model right here. Filled orders on the bottom to start rotating towards the high. This looks great, and I think we can continue higher towards all of this trend liquidity that we have just built. Then I actually do want to take a look at the daily time frame. Um, Yeah, after we've tested this part, made new lows, but it was just to grab this liquidity. We held this old low really nice, drop below it, gained it, tested it back, and start expansion up from there. And if I take a look at this now, this is just a consolidation to either continue up or continue down. And we have now checked that this could actually be an accumulation, so that we want to look up. You know, we took out major liquidity from the highs, combined with this local scenario, so that's when we needed liquidity from the lows. This could be enough for that rotation. We'll have to see on the current price action if we can continue. Then we know this was enough to start trading higher. Where could you trade to? I think this is a great zone. This is what had to bring you towards new highs, but that's where sellers stepped in and pushed price down, and we've never tested it back. You could also just draw it all the way on this high. There we go. That's where you want to trade to. Also this bottom, right? Looks great. Taking enough liquidity here on the lows as well to maybe even start moving towards the 4.2 mark. And then possibly test this back. This would be great. Something like that. We'll see how it creates. We're in literally such discount right now. Don't know much about the project Ton, but the technical analysis is telling me enough, alright? Don't need to do fundamental research to trade on certain pairs. So we'll see what happens there. So, to come back to my point, how can we trade up? Because we still haven't hit our draw on liquidity in my opinion, and we could still go higher. First, I'm curious about the volume profile in this whole range. Oh man, this is interesting. And oh man, this is just great price action from Ton. And I'll actually start telling you why. Because if we zoom in, where has all the volume been? That's in this middle part. What have we also created there? We still had not gained this part right here. And this was our last pullback before we gained it. And now we front ran it. Okay. And what are we doing now? We're building liquidity on the lows. So I think we are going to front run this major liquidity. Actually stuck wrong in this local picture because definitely looks interesting. I wouldn't call that a range. And because we haven't hit this point of interest, it would actually be amazing to go towards it. So we can call this liquidity. And you want to see something like this. That's when we can continue. That's such a great scenario. Let me actually share this in the Discord as well. Okay. Beautiful. That was pretty much done. This is what I would be looking at. I am not interested in taking a short here, even though it is valid and we hit our technical target of this accumulation. Look at the higher picture. Where is our confluences? Our confluences are trading higher, going towards all of this liquidity. So definitely interested. Great chart. Solana, check it. I was a little bit bearish on Solana, and that is because we started taking our highs, showing a little bit of weakness and building a lot of liquidity on the lows. But then again, even though this liquidity is there, if we do not take enough on the highs, we will just keep on pumping. That means we do not need this liquidity for in order to move the market towards the upside. They have already filled enough orders here to start pushing price up again. And yes, this is a retail pennant, and most of the time you get the expansion up, but then you start taking out all the trend liquidity. This is a scenario we have to keep in mind, but we will have to do it from here. I can sneaky see a daily block open here, which we're in right now, so we can definitely expect some resistance here. We can still bounce on here, move up, it's no problem, but take profit moment. Do not want to start trading aggressively towards highs here, just because all of this build up trend liquidity. Even though we could expect the expansion up, you do not want to be greedy for longs when we already have that expansion. You don't want to wait for the people to scale in again and then trade with them. And yeah, where would that situation be? For me, it would actually be around here. This is all tested back. It's all became liquidity down here. We also have this part. We could still easily test it back and start trading up. That's for sure. But for now, take profits moment. And we are gonna expect resistance here. Unless the market goes crazy. But yeah, we're not prepared for those things, right? Locally, looks like we want to continue up. Drawing in buyers into the market, taking them out and actually shifting structure here. So maybe market looks like it just wants to go higher for now. But then again, we haven't tested all of this back. This as well is untested. our last pullback before the expansion that broke this high here. A lot of old liquidity sitting here. Triple equal highs, crazy. God, this is such manipulation, right? All this trend liquidity, take it out and absolutely blast towards your technical target. I do have a line here. Let's see where that's coming from. It comes from this high. Okay. Why is that so important? You can see this little pullback that we have made. That was because we found resistance right here. And you could say this part is now support. And of course on the 4-hour, keep this low because we also manipulated here to keep trading upwards. That's an important one to keep in mind. Trend liquidity. Get a lot of people panicking, trading below lows, taking all this liquidity to fill up their own orders and keep pushing. So to still be bullish on Solana, we just have to keep this low. Start to hold. And our structure says it's still pointing up if we keep that low. So we'll see what happens. Solana done. Let's go to ADA. Man, we did nail this bottom. We nailed a lot of bottoms on a lot of charts. Look at this. It's again the same trick, right? When you make a high and a low, you start moving in between them. Take out one side and then look if you can leave open your lows to trade towards the opposite side. Exactly what happened here again. Also, this structure was pointing up. So all in all, the trend was up. And we didn't get any short triggers right there. Just kept moving up. But we're not here anymore. Just zoom out a bit, remove this. Let's draw on the situation again. This daily candle is what hold us back. This brought us to new lows. We can clearly see the resistance found here, but we held our lows and we gained it. So I am expecting us to get support here so we could still test this back and then keep moving upwards because our trend is also up. This is what brought us up as well. So our order flow on the higher time frame is just to move up. Equal highs here as well. Great target. So from there on, I would say our bias is just up. We're still in the expansion of this move. So let's see if we get... Let me remove this. I know this is our flipped resistance to support, but it just looks ugly in the chart. And this is one thing we now have to keep in mind because crazy resistance here, right? And we did gain it and we did test it back and we start pumping, but what we did miss was our old pullback that brought us there. And this is still untested. This could also be interesting to test back as well, especially because of the build up liquidity here. We could just front run this liquidity. We need to get one more sweep and then we could start seeing that expansion to continue up. So this is definitely a point of interest. I want to be looking for longs. And locally, You can see that on the 4 hour. This was our last pullback that brought us up. So then again, if we hold this low, we could still expect upside. But then again, remember, you could also test your supply or test your demand. I don't think we have done that right now. No, we have not. We have front ran it just a bit. We could still test it, move up, reject this high, and then still go towards this liquidity. This is gonna give us a reaction, and if it does not, then we break it, it becomes resistance, and then we can move towards this bit. So this is up until proven otherwise from this part. But we also have this scenario drawn in because we've left this open. Not looking for shorts because our momentum is just up now. We're just following our structure. It's on every chart. Higher high, higher low. We're trying to make higher highs now. So we want to trade with that momentum. And I don't see any short opportunities here. Just as Solana, no short opportunities. And Ton as well. I don't think there are short opportunities here. XRP. What has been going on XRP? I mean, I'm literally repeating every single time the same trick over and over again. It should to start make a little bit of sense now if you are watching a lot of my content. That is, you make a low, you make a high, you start moving in between them, you're consolidating. Market is building up liquidity on both sides to then take out one side and move towards the other. And we can see we did that right here. We built up a lot of trend liquidity on the highs. We took out our swing low right here. And that's when we gained our old low and tested back and get the expansion upwards. Curious, is this tested? No. Okay. Let's go to the 4 hour. It's a little bit of a mess on the chart. I do not like it. Because of course there had been actively traded here. And we actually did call this live trade on XRP right here in our previous live stream on Sunday. So that is pretty funny. Again, swing low, swing high, take out the low, gain the old low again, and we can start moving towards the other side. A lot of the same tricks we use over and over again, but you just have to, you need to see it, and you need to see it. How can you see it? You need experience, you need guidance. And for that, we do have a free Discord with also free education on it. We're working on a basic price action course. So that is very interesting for everyone that is pretty new to trading or want to keep a reminder how I do trade or interested in how I am trading. Then I will put the link in the chat right now. For now, let's continue on XRP because it looks like it's just up until proven otherwise. We hit our major targets. So longing, is that still a possibility? Yes, sure, but we have to keep in mind we have just taken out crazy amounts of liquidity, okay? And what could that mean? It could mean if we start to leave open our highs, we could actually see some downside to go grab some liquidity on the lows. So let's draw in a few scenarios here that are interesting for XRP. I see a supply drawn in here. Remove this. And this supply is what holds us down every time. You can see the interaction, and even before we broke out, we still got a great reaction from it. What happened then? We gained it, and we never tested it back. What we did from there was build up liquidity. And there are literally almost 3 equal lows sitting here, and that is pretty much a magnet for the market. Enough liquidity taken on the highs could possibly mean we could trade towards liquidity on the lows, and that could happen from here on because we built the liquidity, we got that last big push up, and then you most of the time start moving towards liquidity on the opposite sides, which would be your equal low in combination with your breaker that never has been tested back, and also with your last pullback before we broke significant structure, which this brought us towards new lows. And also this little part, this is what kept us down, so this is what cost us the gain. We never tested it back, so all in all, great point of interest on XRP to look here for longs. I do not want to chase the market, so I'm not going to go greedy in for longs when we just have hit all of our take profits that we wanted to trade towards to. No, we need to stay a bit patient now and wait on the market. The opportunities were there last week, but there are I don't see a lot of opportunities right now in the moment. But a lot of great point of interest in the market itself. So what we could also still do for me to take a short is, because we front ran this big supply here that we got this crazy reaction from, crazy dump. You can see it's not tested, we front ran it, and when we front ran it, most of the time we're just gonna consolidate a bit, test it, and then start moving down towards our technical target, and then blast up again if our trend is really that strong. So that's something I want to be looking at. Draw on that scenario. XRP done. ENA. We did ENA as a chart request last week in the stream, and I think price was around right here, and I said as well our technical target of a accumulation like this. Again, you can see the 3-tab bottom right, and then well, we quickly got the expansion up, just following our trend, higher highs, higher lows, and continuing up. This is what pushed us down last time, but bulls still kept this trend strong. But what we did now is actually interesting, and that is we SFP'd the high. It's hard to draw in a range from this perspective. Let me start by removing everything and make it a bit more clear. On the 3-day, it's just this pool, which is your higher time frame range. But we also have to keep in mind that we manipulated down here to push towards that price. extreme liquidity. Check on the 4-hour if there's any. This would be your extreme supply. You push down, buyers try to continue our uptrend, continue breaking our highs, which just makes sense, right? But then sellers stepped in this whole move, and that's where we're against now, and we keep moving down. So bears are getting a little bit more control on ENA here. But then again, look at it liquidity wise, we are building up a lot of liquidity on the highs until we have taken enough on the lows to then start moving towards the highs again. So let's actually zoom in this local picture, because what we have here is a range low, deviation 1, and we actually have that third tap. This is what I'm always saying, right? This is what I'm always drawing in, and this is also what we base our trades on. So look at this. Beautiful. We want to gain this and hold it. We are doing so right now. Beautiful. Let's zoom in on this local part. Okay, this is actually could be a trade opportunity. But first, let me go to the toilet. I'll be right back, yeah? All right, we're back. Okay, let's continue where we left off. ENA. Let's see. Oh my, this is actually looking real juicy. You know, untested supply. We're building liquidity until we have taken enough on the lows. We could leave this open for later. Because if we just hold this part, then we could start still moving up. Let's zoom in a little. Because on the local part, we're building liquidity on the highs until we have taken enough to then start rotating towards all of the liquidity that we have just built. On the 2 minutes, we gained absolutely big V shape up. What do we want to hold here? Definitely this part. Check our volume. Volume is okay. Another on the low time frame. 3 taps. This brought us also to new lows. We had resistance here. We now made a higher high. What could we expect? A higher low for another higher high? And this is already on the 1 minute, so I actually might take this trade right now. We could bounce from here. This is the part that brought us towards that new low. We gained it and we never tested it back, so this would be your most aggressive way of entering. And then we also have this little pullback. Looks tested back though. With this wick right here, we broke up, tested it back, and we got the expansion up. So let's see if this becomes an interesting liquidity point to take out. Do something like this. Then you have yourself a trade. Yeah, looking great though. Good support here. Looks like we're bottoming out a bit. Okay, ENA definitely on the watch list. Now let's check quickly Bitcoin for the momentum. Looks like it could easily move up as well. Ethereum not so much. Hold this low. We're gonna move up. Real simple. Where we're gonna go to? Towards all of this liquidity right there. Great 1 hour bottom. Great 4 hour bottom. Make a wick, take that out, then use this wick as support. Move, beautiful. Yeah. You could also do, you could preset of course, but you could also wait for this 1 minute structure to form and enter on a break right there. So that way you're not gonna catch a falling knife, right? Looking at it extra locally. I'm actually getting my exchange ready here, okay? Because if something does form right here, then I am really interested in taking this trade. Always wanna have your stop loss one tick below your protected low. Okay. We actually are making this internal structure. Left our targets open, did take a little bit of liquidity out, but that's what happens in an expansion. But we left our major open and swing low, swing high, take out enough on the lows to move towards the swing high. So let's see if we can just continue this trend towards the higher high. Yeah, locally everything looks a bit like it can pump a little bit up. In the meantime, put my alert out. Let's go to a here, I want one as well. Let's go to our next coin. That is Bitcoin, an important one here. This is just what I'm seeing right now. We'll get into it we'll get into the high time frame in a little bit, but we are seeing a little bit of consolidation form here. Have not broken the high yet. Did actually gain that level right there. Um, Down here it was a bit concerning for Bitcoin because when you consolidate, of course, you can either move up or down, and you were taking out the highs here like it was nothing, testing your extreme supply and actually moving down, but we still kept all of our lows open. This is just a liquidity hunt because this is what brought us here. Then this is a little bit of consolidation. We kept our thing to hold. We also didn't break any structure. This is a liquidity hunt, and we started expanding upwards again. ENA actually broke through now, I think. It did. Okay. This is crazy. 5-8. Oh my god. Let's see if we can start following this local trend because we did test something back here, or this is just pulling in buyers to take them out, and then we could start expanding both our options here. Let's continue to with Bitcoin. Aminu, good morning. Good morning, brother. How are you doing? Is everything great? How has your trading week been last week? Because of course, Sunday it's a good day to reflect back on your trading week and start planning in your trading week again. So let me know what's up, man. Taking any positions? Maybe a sweep. Then we could see. Remember, our trend is valid as long as we can hold this low. We could even sweep this liquidity here, then start moving up, or we're just going to continue from here. Okay. We'll see. Put out the alerts and continue. Bitcoin actually building a little bit of those liquidity lows. We have tested this back. Had a good run this week. Took 3 positions and it was a W. That is good to hear. I mean, if you take 3 positions and you lose 2 of them, but you managed with a good risk management, then you could still make money, right? But good there, you had a good week. But then again, even if you have a bad week, you have to handle with it. What went wrong? What can you do better? How was your trading week? Man, a lot of front runs, Aminu. Um, Earlier this stream, I talked about this right here. Looks like it is hit here, but I had actually drawn it in like this, which is really unfortunate. And then we just got front run by, how much is it? 0.01%. And then, of course, we blasted up from there. So that is one of them. Solana didn't trade anything. Of course, we did also nil XRP, which was absolutely crazy. Let me check, where was it? I think it was here. Down here. I removed the drawing, but actually made a recap on this as well. I thought if we manage to just keep the structure in this expansion, we can start moving up, right? And this is your point of interest. If we hit this, we can start longing. So what happened here is pretty simple. Of course, if you have this 1 minute market structure, this brought you up to new highs, but then again, put it to the... Oh my, this is so annoying. Let me do this for this little part. So if we hit this, we can start moving up, right? So it's just waiting for it, waiting for it. And you have to see the signals the market is giving you, because are these structure breaks? No, they are not. They're just liquidity hunts. And then we tapped into this and we actually start taking out our high. It's not a convincing break, but you have some confluences that we could start taking more liquidity on the high. Because is this enough liquidity to start reversing to your lows? Well, we've just taken here. And if we hold our low, we can just move up. Then you have something like this. Even though this is not the best of a break, you'll have to see if the market respects it as a break. So, trend liquidity built, trend liquidity taken out. This is what brought you towards new lows. That's what you gained. That's also what you have to test back to continue up. And that was the play right there. And this one absolutely blasted up. You'll see in a bit. Right here. Crazy. Well, that was pretty much my trading week on crypto. Not that much. And of course, Pepe. That was last week. Also, familiar bottom. Saw a good setup on USD GPI. It was my first trade in Forex ever. Damn, man, I'm curious about that setup. Let's check it out. In the meantime, ENA is running a bit upwards here. Which is great. If we flip this, we could expect some more upside. So it rejected us here, but we kept our low. So if we flip it, could see some continuation. And if not, then this is still what brought you to new lows, and we could still do this easily, take all the liquidity that we've built, then still run from here. Yeah, let's take a look at USD EPY. Oh my. Okay. Do you know what day you took that trade? Because it is hard for me to actually look for it here because this is just a huge consolidation. I do not like all of this liquidity we're building on the lows. Gives me a bit of bearish signals. Also, we took out this low to create new highs. We failed doing so. We're going back to the low. This is what brought you towards the lows. This is your test. You're building up liquidity. It looks like we just want to continue the downtrend here. And you took a short position. That's great. Because it looks bearish as well. On the 11th. Okay, I think it was up here then. Okay, it was with this wick. Maybe you can send the chart in the Discord. Then we can look a bit better at the chart and the play you've made. If you want to, of course. If not, then I will not go over it. But I have to really find a short there. Well, this is our pullback that brought us up. We break it. It's a change of character. And this, instead of support, this becomes resistance, which is a breaker. Close below it, tested it back, and we kept moving, and we kept the resistance here as well. So maybe it would have been something from here. And if not, maybe continue this trend. Quickly check ENA. Okay. I will always want your feedback. That's good to hear. That means you value the things I say. And to be honest, everyone should, because I keep on showing the same things into the charts and it keeps on working, right? If we do start to continue here, then it would be great. If we do reject here, then we're gonna take out these equal lows. We'll see. Bitcoin on the weekend, on the 1 minute, always ugly. Bitcoin high time frame. We flipped this, we broke this level. It's up until proven otherwise now. I am gonna be really careful with shorts though, because to be honest, we wanted the short from here. We did not get it because all of this trend liquidity and these equal lows we made. There is still a possibility we could reject here somewhere and then move down though. I do see that scenario. This is where all of our volume is at as well. Of this accumulation, this would be your technical target. Then again, on the high time frame, you could run way higher. And well, I'm not putting this in the chart for nothing, right? Because you know me. Entered at 7458, right here on the line. Invalidation below this. Let's see if we can continue up. Trilled the stop loss to de-risk my position to here as well. Not expecting us to take that anymore. And now see if we can run this higher. But already over want to risk to reward trade though. Because of all of this weak trend liquidity here, then man, we could definitely run up to it. The supply has been tested from there. It's all just liquidity. So if the market gets more bullish, then could definitely see more expansion. Have you been watching H-bar USDT from your previous chart? Can we have an update? Yes, sir. We definitely can. Grabbing it right away. Okay, so H-bar is very interesting because this bottom, it's great, right? It's market maker bottom. I don't think we have to return to this zone because we took out so much liquidity with this swing. We made a high, we built up liquidity, took all of that extreme liquidity out, and we started trading up really aggressively while breaking this structure. This would be your high time frame trend. So we want to look for scenarios and spots where we could expect that higher low for new higher highs. And I drew in this range manipulation and the expansion, but the manipulation was okay, but I really would have preferred us testing this box here, this green box, and we did not. We left open a little bit of equals, But then again, while I was drawing in, I was watching the scenario a bit wrong. Yes, I made a mistake. I didn't look at it uh, at a sharp way. I didn't zoom in at this part because what happened here was actually great manipulation, even though you front ran the part where everyone wanted the long, right? A high, a low, you took out the low. We started trading up, never hitting your technical target, but we took out extreme liquidity here again. So we have this 1, 2, and this 3, and then we continued up. So this is actually a great bottom to leave behind. And I wanted to see price come back there, hit this point of interest while it didn't even have to. So that's a mistake on my part. Esprod, yo brother, how's it going? It's going well, man. I've been in the game analyzing, trading. I've been grinding. Also a bit busy these weeks, and that is because in my house there are people working on the bathroom right now, and it's a lot of noise, so I cannot stream and record videos that often right now. But well, what has to happen, right? How have you been doing though? Looks like we didn't get that sweep of 0.05 order block on Bitcoin we talked about before. The crazy move from 107. Let me switch back to Bitcoin in a second. First, let me finish H bar for my man Aminu. So I was a bit wrong here to wait for us to get that taken and test this back, even though this was really important. Yeah, well, happens right when you go quickly through charts, only drawing quick high time frame without actually zooming in, looking looking at the local parts, like, okay, what actually happened there? Is there market maker involvement there? What has happened? That was important for me to look at, but I did not. So I went over that a bit too quickly. I'm doing alright. Got caught up in the sketchy price action past couple of days for intraday on Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin has not been the cleanest to trade lately. But we'll go over that in a second. So what do we want to see for H bar? This is a huge swing towards new lows. It's also this part, but on the higher time frame, this will be the part. So what could happen here is we could still reject this high, leave open our massive trend liquidity trail, then come all the way back down, take out all of this trend liquidity that we have just built, and then we could actually get that expansion, because we did front run this great POI, and when we front ran something like that and build liquidity, most likely you're going to take all of that liquidity out and then get that massive move towards the upsides. So this is a scenario I want to keep in mind, and this is also a trading scenario I want to draw in. By the way, I have a question for Aminu and Esprod, because you're pretty often in the stream. I have my music turned off right now. What do you think about that? Do you like when I have a bit of background music on, or do you just prefer like this, straight up talking and no music? Music is always good. Okay. Um, there you go. It's just sometimes annoying when like a song comes on I don't like. terrible. Okay, so scenario 1 is sketched in. I'm gonna remove this because I want the charts to be a bit cleaner. And let's look at the local part, because man, this is a lot of liquidity being built up. Look at these higher lows. Okay, most of the time when you move up like this, grind up with a lot of higher lows being built up, you're of course gonna do so until you have taken enough on the other side. And when you have taken enough on the other side, you're gonna move towards all of the trend liquidity that we have just built. This also aligns with our scenario that we have sketched in down here, because this does not look that sustainable to me. When you're strong, you're moving up like this. You're not moving up like this. So this tells me we're gonna use this trend liquidity for later to fill up more orders. But it doesn't have to, of course. It's still up until proven otherwise, but you have to keep that in mind, that that is a scenario. In the meantime, ENA is doing ENA things. We'll get back to that in a second. You can see we have this little 8-hour block which was not tested, but I don't like it that much. That is because this crazy wick is here, and your supply would actually be this. Your pullback brought you to new lows, but you also tested that back. Maybe on the lower time frame there's something here I cannot see on the 1 hour. Not really, right? It's just a rejection candle. Let's draw it in, see if the market has reacted to it or is going to react to it. You know, the zones you draw in are just your views of the market, right? If you draw in a zone, it doesn't have to get respected. It's just your lines, your drawings on the chart. But the chart you make tells a story, and if price action shows you you're right on the story that you have put in the chart, then you are really on the right side of trading. Because my mentor used to say, your chart should always tell a story. You should not even have to put text into a chart. Okay, your chart should tell the story. It should tell everything you need, and that's why I always put these ones, because this is where I would be looking at. I'm looking at this liquidity to be taken out and then start trading up. This is my story that I tell on the chart. Same could be here. If I draw in the supply here, that means if price comes here, I want to see if price reacts from it and actually gives us a entry. Now let's, before we finish H bar, quickly check ENA. Oops. Yeah, we want to see price continue from here, or else we could see rejection, take out these lows, and then just continue this trend and try again from there. So we want to show a bit of strength here, get above that part. This is pretty much your big supply, but because on the lower time frame it looks ugly, I'm gonna draw it in like this. Looks a bit more cleaner. So price has to give it from here, gain it, and we can continue up, or it's gonna reject and we can try again when we take out that low. And I am actually in this trade right now. The trade is on break even because I'm expecting this test to continue us up towards new highs, and also because we're building up a little liquidity. I also want to keep in mind this scenario that we take out that low one more time, these equal lows, and then continue from there, because we still have a little bit to test here, and our invalidation is below this low. This is our trend. We could push right here, but we could also still go down and push from there. Let me actually prove I am in this play. As I'm saying, I had the thing here, right? Yeah.
Did you ever hear the story about Leon? I said Leon, they said Leon. He was from the flats that the Jack kids be on. Before the cats they had they cracked a phenon. They say on the street he a phenon when he's.
So I actually don't talk bullshit, I also shoot what I see. And you can see entry price 0.7458. That's exactly where this line is at. It is at the right time as well. And my invalidation was below these equal lows. And why that? Because this is the part that brought you down. You gained it and you tested this back as well, because our trend was this as well. The high time frame, this looks great as well. This is where you held support. All in all, it just looks like it wants up. And we held our lows here. We tested our point of interest. You wouldn't call this a change of character, because this didn't make new lows, but this is confirmation that you leave open your lows and you could search for liquidity on the highs. So that was my triggers. Those were my triggers in this trade. And well, we'll see what happens, right? We are on break even here, so there's nothing to lose. If the market still wants to dip down, make a new low and continue from there, it can be, but this was worth a shot to start taking to trade up from here, especially because of the high time frame. Because the high time frame, you could even start trading all the way towards this high, which is a 39 RR. I would take that risk every day of the week. You can see the same model again. It happened on the low time frame as well. Holding our old low here. I'm sorry for it's my own music actually. I shouldn't be playing it. There we go. So we'll see what happens here. Trade is risk free. If it runs, it runs. If it doesn't, it was worth a shot, right? Finish up with H-bar. Let's check out the Bitcoin question asked in the chat. On the 4 hour, if you hold this low, our structure is pointing up, right? This is our pullback that brought us to new highs. So our trend will still be a higher low for another higher high until it's proven otherwise. Unless we test it, we reject our high and we can continue down. That's an option. But as long as this is standing and this is pointing up and we came from this move here, we can just keep on trading this. Of course, on local confirmations. So what do I mean by that? You want the trend down. You want to get that change of character, and that is your confirmation that you could trade towards new highs, which is also your high time frame expected order flow. So that's what I would be looking at. It's great that we're leaving this liquidity. This is our structure. New lows. We're still bearish, but we want to be sharp for that switch into the market. We could even start getting that switch now. This is your range. You actually deviated the range here. You can also see this was crazy resistance, this old low. Market loves old liquidity. Not that old, but liquidity you've just taken out or something. I always draw a line in there. Before we finish this, let's actually go for ENA because it's breaking out a little bit. Let me update the can still reject from here. Took out this high, people are taking profits, you had higher lows building up, little compression. It's obvious if we take out the high, we can also start moving towards the lows. So keeping that in mind, I want to de-risk my position even more, because I think we should have strength here and not weakness. Even though we could still take this out and then move up, I do not want to be in the trade so long. I want to be in the trade when the big people step in. And when big people step in, you want to see an expansion upwards, and you do not want to be in consolidations. This is actually the pullback that brought you towards new highs. It really looks like we're just gonna take out all of this liquidity to fill up even more orders, baiting in a lot of people that has been longing in this move to then do something like this. So this is your pullback that brought you to new highs, but it's also the pullback that you could hunt and still move up. So you have something like this, attracting buyers into the market, take all of the aggressive buyers, then move up. So that's why I want to de-risk my position to here now. You know, I'm just telling you my thoughts during these trades, and this way we have a easy break-even trade, and not even break-even, even a little bit of profit. We're keeping in mind the situation that we could still easily move down from here. We're also keeping in mind this situation that we could take out this low and still move up, but if we are going lower than that, then, well, I'll just find a new entry. Then I'll just wait for the market to do something like this, take out the lows, and then we can go again. Because it's the same principle, right? We're still in this higher time frame uptrend. I betted on the market going up from here, which did do. We were in crazy profits. It had a little take profit here. Why would I take profit there? Because it's already a lot of risk to reward. Just a small take profit though. Already 2.4 risk to reward on this trade hit. So we're just gonna keep an eye on, well, we're just gonna let it run. We'll see what happens. I really don't care what happens. I'm doing my job well now. So we'll see. H-bar. Looking like an okay bottom here. If we can hold this trend, we're just gonna move up. Did we do something significant on the left? What we did was, this was the pullback that brought you to that high, but then you still had to do this to continue. The fact that we do not go up from this level and right here shows me more weakness than strength. Because if we are really strong, you wanted, after this sweep, you wanted to continue to blast up. So that's actually really weak. We're rejecting from this high. We could still move towards new lows. Because this is your trend. This, what I just pointed out, is internal. did actually take out that low now. So let's see if this was enough to start rotating up, or if we're actually gonna go towards this technical target of this little compression. It's always painful if it's gonna stop you out and then move up, right? But I wanted to be with a quick expansion. I need it to be right here. If we do not blast up, then it's fine as well. I'll search a new entry. I will not search a new entry if we do this though. I want to then go towards these equal lows. That's why I'm choosing to put my stop loss here. I'm not mad if or here, sorry. I'm not mad if I'm gonna get stopped out, because we have taken some profit. It is a positive trade in the books, and the trade had so much potential. So while H bar is looking a bit bearish, looks like it just want to snag all of this trend liquidity for now. And I'm not interested in actively trading H bar right now, because the way we went up, then we would have to do something like this for me to trade H bar. Take it out, you know, create those tops and those bottoms that I'm always talking about again. Then I'm of course interested in taking shorts and longs. But as long as we do not see that, then it's fine. We actually got stopped out now on ENA, which is fine. Actually, did we? No, we did not. Never move my stop towards this part. This is your swing high, swing low. You can still move up. Let's see. Let's see. Obviously gonna put the stop tick above now. Let's see. I do know if we start to flip this high right now, it's pretty much confirmed for me that we're going towards this high. Because we could reject and still make new lows, but if we do not do that, this was just our last manipulation before we actually get that continuation of that expansion towards the upside to continue this trend. So let's see. Yeah, like I said, H bar is a bit sketchy now, man. I do not like the high time frame. I mean, you would have to go towards here again, because then you would have this, and you could look locally for here, but you tested this back as well, so is it that interesting as well? I wouldn't say so. ENA is actually going right now, which is great. Yeah, I think if we gain here, then we can keep expanding, for sure. And you guys need to realize, if you zoom out in a play like this, of course it's great. This trade will most likely hit 4.5 R. Most likely. It's not always 100%, but if it keeps doing what it has to do, it's gonna go towards 4.5 R. which is your technical target of this local accumulation, with your drawn liquidity being that high. But you have to realize, let me remove this, if you take trades like this, but you have to look at the high time frame as well, because why would I take these trades on a lower time frame? It's because the higher time frame is in confluences with my overall bias. And if you take a look at this, look at the trend liquidity we've built up. And I always say, you know, I'm drawing this always in when I'm charting. These bottoms, they're market maker bottoms. They're signs that market makers are accumulating positions to push price up, especially when there's trend liquidity here, because that makes the move up way easier. And we're also respecting this old low. Man, it just looks like upside right now, and you could have runners all the way towards this high. And that makes it more interesting to take the trades as well, because as you have the drawn liquidity on the lower time frame for your 4.5R, because of the high time frame in confluences with your lower time frame, and you searching a fine-tuned entry right here, you could have runners of a risk to reward towards 40RR. Then I also have to say, you're not gonna realize 40 risk to reward, alright? You are gonna take another profit here, you're gonna take another profit here, but the point is, you can realize way more risk to reward if your high time frame is in confluence with your low time frame, or you could switch it around as well. If your low time frame is in confluence with your high time frame. High time frame point of interest, high time frame liquidity schematic, and then a low time frame entry. And that is really powerful. That is so powerful. Because if we start blasting here now, you have a chance price never comes back here. You can have a risk-free trade. The trade is already risk-free. And we have taken a little profit. Then you just have the chance it can run all the way up to here. You know, trend liquidity, expansion down, your V shape up, you're holding on the previous structure that you broke. Brought you to new lows, higher high, higher low, higher high. This made new lows, higher high, expectancy, higher low, higher high. You can see all of those confluences aligning. Supply and demand is aligning, liquidity is aligning, range trading is aligning, market structure is aligning. And that's literally all of the subjects of the basic price action course as well. So you can see again, if you align multiple confluences towards a trading system, you can actually shoot really high probability trades. And because I day trade, because I fine tune my entries on the lower time frame, you could have massive trades like this with the possibility that it could run all the way towards your high time frame technical target. Okay, it doesn't have to happen, but you have the chance to. You have the local confirmations for a really good trade, and you have the high time frame confirmations for an insane trade. Those are always beauties. Again, can easily stop me out, but I've already taken my profit. My trade is risk-free right there. We'll see what happens. Even when price does this, you could still look for longs. Then you have tried the long right here, taken some profit, trade break even, made a little profit. Okay, nothing too much. But then your bias is still the same, because this has made new highs, and we could still expect that higher low for that higher high. Doesn't mean it has to come from here. Doesn't have to. It can also do this. It can also go towards the lower spot right here and then get that switch up. Your invalidation is right here. But we had some local triggers to shoot it right here. So that's what we did. We had enough confluences to take the risk of this trade. We had more probability of this trade going well than it was going right, because my strategy is just really high win rate. I don't trade that much, but when I do take the trades, it is pretty high win rate. Okay, let's just finish up. I think H bar is finished up. Hold this low for upside, but be careful because all of this trend liquidity here, this scenario would be the greatest to long from. For shorts, create a distribution. I do not want to short against this power yet. We have to get market makers involved in shorting the market for us to actually trade with that smart money. And there's no sign of any smart money yet. Smart money was here, but then retail people just keep on buying, FOMO, you know how it goes. So patience. Bitcoin, we did do Bitcoin. Bitcoin could create that market maker model as well here, but then it could just be a squeeze up. Because that's what happens when you're in boxes of liquidity and supply. You just tend to squeeze up if we are really that bullish. And if we were that bearish, I wanted to short from here. Right now you just flip this level. So you need to be careful on Bitcoin. I do not like trading Bitcoin right now. If you guys have any questions, any chart requests in the stream, then comment, tell me. I would be open to suggestions. If you're wondering about certain things I draw in and how I draw them in, I would be happy to tell them to you as well. Not everything, of course, but just on the basic level. Six likes on the stream, damn, thank you all. I think that's the most likes I have gotten in a single stream in these few months now. Good to hear. Sunday streams always are on fire. But then again, I'm on fire right now as well, so I still haven't eaten dinner and it's almost 1 o'clock in my time. So if any of you still have a chart request, then comment at it. If not, I'm gonna end the stream after I've looked at your questions as prod, because I've been talking, yapping, but you still have a few questions that aren't answered. Didn't get that sweep of the order block 105. Yeah, that's true, as prod. We just hold this price action here and we did move up from 0.7. We did of course have a bit of this accumulation here, but because of these equals and still a little POI on the bottom, then well, we just started moving up. But then, is this sustainable? Look at this trend liquidity now. I don't know. I think we need to be sharp for a quick move down, and then from here we could still actually blast up. So we need to be sharp. Either way, right now, Bitcoin not too nice to trade. Then you had another question as brought on the volume profile. Can you talk about some setups you use it for? I've been using volume profile sessions to show confluence for intraday plays. It's pretty much the same for me, because what does the volume profile do? It shows you where the most volume is at. And where the most volume is at is also where all of the, I wouldn't say big players, but all of the, you know, the most volume, a lot of liquidity was here being at this area. Most orders have been bought and sold at this area. So most of the time the point of control, the value area low and the value area high are also support and resistances. I use it as confluences with my demand and supply. So if you take a look at TON here, we missed this long right here, but we got the crazy move up. Again, with these 3 taps, you see them everywhere. But this is what brought you to new lows. You still rejected it here, not a gain. This was the bid that actually gained this high. We haven't tested it back, building up liquidity. And because of the volume profile in this whole accumulation, I call this an accumulation because we kept taking out the lows and we kept building liquidity on the highs. And these were my signals that market makers were filling up orders on the bottom. That was my story in the chart, and we were right because we absolutely blasted from there. Let's take a look. That's 5-6%. But then you have the volume profile in combination with our trend towards our drawn liquidity. Our drawn liquidity is this range high. That's your technical target of an accumulation like this. So when you draw on the volume profile over your whole range, you can actually see where has price been traded the most. And that also makes it interesting to protect those levels. Because if the most orders have been bought and sold in this direction, the market makers had been stepping in here. They want to protect where they have done the most volume, which is here. And it's just in combination with your point of interest. We can actually, I had not drawn this on our trade on ENA, but we can actually do so. Because this brought us to new lows. This is what you had to gain for your momentum shift, right? So you could draw in your range from, or your volume profile from this high towards the gain. Okay, it is all at the highs right now. Doesn't show anything interesting for me, but what if you do it over here? Still at those highs. I want to have this at the... There are certain ways you want to draw it in as well. Okay. I've drawn it in now because this is when we actually took out the high, so I had to put it a bit less. Of course, there's a lot of volume here, but that's not relevant for our positions that I've been scaling in here. Then this is not relevant. Because this is on the 1 minute, you do not see a lot of volume, not a lot of volume candles, but you could say POC and value area low is pretty defensive entry, but you can go aggressive when your drawn liquidity is strong. That's your value area high. I must say it doesn't give much confluences on the area here, but it is how you would use it. Just draw it in this completely range, this complete range. You can see the value area low is just a good support and resistance and nothing that much. I also have to say you do not need the volume profile for an order to fine-tune your entries. It's just a little extra confluences on some point of interest you've drawn in, or to look where the volume is at. But most of the time you can see where most of the volume is at, because look at this price action, interaction here, interaction here, interaction here. Look at all of this interaction here. Most of the time I do not even have to draw in the volume profile to mark out the value area low here, the point of control, and the value area high. It's just sometimes a tool to help. And ENA actually starts running now. Crazy, we took this trade live on stream. You can clearly see the entry is 7458, which is right here. Invalidation was these equal lows at the time, and now if we break this high, I'm gonna de-risk my position to this here, because then I am expecting just continuation. When I've de-risked my position here, then I just want to take a big profit down here and then let a little bit of run towards our high time frame targets. Great trades. Great that we caught this live. This is also a bit more validation for all of you guys, because I don't share literally every trade I play into the Discord. And this way you can actually see I'm not just chit-chatting bullshit. No, if there's a setup, I'm taking the setup and I'm actually trading how I'm supposed to trade it, and how I always explain it. Okay? Yeah, that's pretty much volume profile for me and everything I wanted to discuss in this stream. We still have a few charts that we haven't been going through, but I think 2 hours of live streaming with all of this knowledge spit in this stream, I think it was a really great stream. Watch this. Volume or point of control right here. You feel me? This is just great if your volume profile is low. And again, one of those market maker accumulations. They're so clear. I think I'm gonna record episode 4 of range trading today. So we're gonna go more into these little models here. These 3 tabs, how you actually draw in your range. I think I'm gonna record that today and also upload it. So stay tuned for that. For now, that was pretty much it for me. Let's just quickly go over a few of these charts. Not gonna analyze them in depth, just quickly want to check what happened. Of course, we called out this nice bottom on AFAX. I think Aminu actually took a trade here, and I hope you still have runners left, because we're just calling out high time frame pivot points, you know. Sui never hit my point of interest here. Too long. Doge didn't even look at that, but you can see the same bottoms on the lows, right? You can see the exact same thing before you get that massive move. Price action curling, you gaining structure, higher low, and absolutely blast up. Same thing here, taking out the lows, get that curl up, continue. Ooh, gas actually. This was interesting. Okay, this would mean on Caspa, so we had this massive distribution, has been hit, good support resistance. We still hold it here. Yeah, this is definitely look for that pullback. Continue trading up for now. Look at all of this trend liquidity. As long as you have not taken these 3 highs, then I would be looking for upsides. For that higher low, for that higher high. This is what price still had to push down, but this is where buyers stepped in and actually made a higher high, because on the lower time frame this brought you to new lows and this brought you to new highs. So in combination you have the breaker and you have the demand as a point of interest. And then the high time frame is done, right? Just wait for price to come in here. Wait for structure to align like this. Maybe some market maker manipulation. And then continue to trade into the direction we want to go to. Oh, my take profit is about to hit on ENA.
isolation, got no expectation for this generation in this foolish nation. They're just trying to figure who's the coolest wasteman in this world of product placements and mass displacement. I just stay making bangers in the basement, keep the world adjacent. It's a scary place. Where's Freddy and Jason? Feeling to smack them in the face.
Oh my god, what a front run. Yeah, it has not been hit yet. We did break this high, so I'm gonna de-risk the position now. Because there was an opportunity, because this building liquidity could still reverse down. Not expecting it now. Think we just want to take out this high. Like I said, gain this part. We can definitely trade towards this high. But my stop loss is going right here. I think actually right there. Discovered this little bit of liquidity. Maybe if we want to sweep it as well. Amazing trades. Great risk to reward. It's another easy 2 to 3% on the portfolio. And we did everything in this live stream, which I found even more amazing. Alright, if there's any questions, then I would love to answer them. If there's a chat request, then you'll have to tell me within 3 minutes before I end the live stream. And for everyone new here, thank you for being in the stream. I also want to show you that we do have a Discord community. I am starting to share all of the knowledge I've learned because I mean, after 4 years of trading, you just learn how the market moves, and I am ready to share that info now. I've been on my grind and I'm ready to share and help all of you that are going or are being on that grind right now. So if you are interested, definitely join the Discord. There's also a free education course there. And well, that was the stream for today. If no one has any more questions, then I'm gonna end it here. Everyone, thank you for being in the stream. Absolutely amazing 2-hour stream. And I will see you all on the next one. See ya.